Hi and welcome here, Joe at williecottage.com. It's a chilly one. Woke up and it was -4. -4 out with the dogs at 6:30 this morning. Wow, that's cold and crunchy. It's all thawed out now. Yeah, definitely thawed out. Definitely thawed out. My chicken's fine. I get a bit concerned about her because she's on her own, you see, now. There's only one chicken. So, oh bless her. She won't stay in the room with the ducks and keep warm with them lot. If you hear any dogs whinging in the background, I've locked them out because they're driving me berserk. I get onto my feet and I've got boxes all over the place. I'm trying to tidy up my room as well as trying to make Christmas presents as well. So I'm not blending this week for my chat. Next week will be your final Christmas chat before obviously Christmas week. Hiya Victoria. So what I thought I would do, because it's got to that time of year and you'll have members of the family or you'll have friends that'll be asking you, what do you want for Christmas? And you're like, I don't know. Or they've already got your stuff. But there's maybe one, two things. Hiya, Alison. Just a quick break. All right, no problem. They might be thinking, oh, what can we get you for Christmas? I'm not really sure what to get. And then you can have a little list. My go-to is always books. And I like a good read, but I haven't sat and read a novel for a while. I love books that are fictionally historically based, but they're like fiction books but historically based. So like things like the Crusades and the Vikings and going back to more prehistory type thing and the Saxons and that. I love all that sort of stuff, but it's got to be a really good fighting, down to the earth way of speaking that'll make me chuckle while following a really good storyline. So that's what I like. But Joe, you're a fibre creator. Yeah, I know I am. And I always do a bit of a book review, and I'm not sponsored by any of these authors, right? So there's a lot of you that are new to spinning, new to wanting to experiment with natural dyeing, that sort of thing, and covering topics that I've maybe done over the last year, like just touching on card weaving. So I've pulled out some of my books. These are just the books I use for references. They help me when I'm asked questions. If I don't know how to term, I know how to do it, but I don't know how to put it into phrases or how to term it out properly, like explain it. So I go and look at my books and reference from them. If I want to learn a new spinning technique or teach you guys how to do one, then I've got some books in there that help me with that as well. So I thought I would do my book review because I do it every year of new books. Now, to be fair, I have bought new books this year, but they've not been about. It's gone weird. Going to rejoin. Yeah, no problem. So I will start off with your go-to. Now there is the Pocket Field Guidebook of Fleece, and it was one of my first books. But I really don't. Hello, Alison, you're back. It's like Return of the Alison. I really, I don't rate that book, the Pocket Field Guidebook. Firstly, it's not even pocket sized. You still need to put it in a bag. You can't just stick it in your pocket. It's not like that size. It's in the most weirdest place you'd ever imagine. It's in my bedroom. And I'll tell you why. Because I get contacted at midnight when I'm in bed by people overseas that are in a completely different time zone from me, asking me questions about wool and their micron counts and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh God. And it's not so bad now, but it got to a point like, if I don't answer this, am I going to lose a potential sale? Oh, that sort of thing. So I ended up, hiya Yashka, I end up just keeping the book in my room. And since I've got the book in my room, it's ended up, Yashka, hiya, right, stop it now, otherwise you will be kicked off. On a second, remove. Right, Yashka, you're going to have to stop it. I won't put up with this stupidity on my channel. Okay. Right, there we go. So, I need to get my admin up, don't I? Phil's downstairs somewhere. Chat filter. Right, not that one. Hold on a sec. Bear with me a minute. Community moderation. Right, anyone participating? Right, subscribers only. Okay. Right, done. Okay, so I don't know why I have to do this, but it just calms it down. You're more than welcome to come and chat and join in the conversation. Okay, I'll put down comments, but go off and subscribe, and about 10-20 minutes later you'll be allowed to leave comments. I won't put up with idiots on my page at all, because it's a nice community. I have lovely people come over here, and my friends as well as my customers and people that I've met through my channel. Okay, so I won't take the nonsense anyway. So yeah, it's a British book, the Field Guide to Fleece. It's all right. It gives you adequate information, and I suppose to a point, it's perfect if you're going to an auction where you want to buy sheep, or if you're out roaming about and you're going for a walk and like you're going and you're not quite sure what the sheep are in the field. That sort of thing's fine. But this is the book that I would recommend you get. It has been written by the Wool Board. Okay, you can get it from any online supplier. Unfortunately, I do not sell books. I wish I could. Maybe next year it might be something I start looking into and ordering a couple of copies of certain books and sticking them on the website. I might start doing that next year. Okay, but this is the British Sheep and Wool book. It's by the British Wool Board. It's a brilliant book. I really, really do like this book. I rate it quite a lot. And there's breeds in here that I've never even heard of or seen. You don't have that one, Alison. I really do. I recommend this book completely. The back of it says, British Sheep and Wool is a concise reference guide for sheep enthusiasts and wool professionals or otherwise. It's a revised third edition, reflects the subtle changes that have evolved in certain breeds since the last catalogued, and reflects the British sheep as they are at the beginning of the 21st century. New sheep, flock and wool imaginary gives the reader access to over 60 UK breeds, all photographed in their natural form and habitat. And it clearly shows the heritage and diversity of British wool and its immense suitability for textile products. So let's find a... You've got the Scottish grey face. That's a really, really, really pretty sheep. Look at the speckles on its face. So this one, it'll give you, it's got titles here. You've got Breed Society established. It's not got a breed society. It's not a rare breed. It's got a medium handle, and it has got, the colour of its fleece is white or creamy. The fleece weight, so if you're buying a fleece from a farmer, and like on the Greasy Fleece page or something like that, and they tell you that they've got this and that's what they're selling, you need to know that roughly there's 2.75 kilos to 3.75 kilos of fleece on that. So if they said that it weighs, I don't know, 4 kilos or say 1.5 kilos, then there's something wrong with their fleece. It's not quite working. The staple length of 12 to 24 centimetres. So 12 to, where's my tape measure when you need one? 12 to 24 centimetres is, here, we'll use this one. We've got this one here, 12 to 24 centimetres, so that's roughly just over 4.5 inches to, what was the other one again? To 24, so no, yeah, so roughly between 4.5 to 9.5 inches long. Yeah, or I get mine from, you can get them on, okay, but it's, I can't even remember how much it costs. It's not overly expensive. Go on to the Spinners Group pages online as well. You will find it on there. There's no price on this, but I think it's about 12, 15 quid or something like that. But the Spinners Groups, there's always somebody getting rid of one. Weft Blown, but she's moved up to Skye from West Kilbride, so she's not open at the moment, but you can order it. Adelaide Walker, that's a good, I get books from them as well. You could try the Wool Board themselves, but is a good place to go looking for discounted books. You might find some pre-owned copies on there. It also tells you that the origin is developed by crossing a Border Leicester ram with a Scottish black-faced ewe. The characteristics is a popular hardy ewe with good mothering instincts, widely used to breed quality prime lambs. It has a grey speckled face with white wool and a good length. Predominantly Scotland and Northern Ireland is where you'll find them, and the main use is their wool is usually used in carpets. So you can weave with that. You could spin it up and you could weave with it, or you could do vegetarian rugs out of their fleece. There's quite a decent length in there as well. So yeah, it's a really, really good book to have for your reference guide. If anything, it's an interesting read. Goes on about the role of the wool board, so they go into the history of that. It's got a wool index, and it sort of the colour coordinated pages. So if you're looking for fine wools, you've got these colour sections here, and that section there tells you where to find them. So if you're looking for a fine wool, you want to go look for the blue colours. If you're looking for one that's got a lot of lustre in there, well, you want to flick through and look for the beige section, which is this one here. So it's got a really easy index to follow through. What else? We've got Devon and Cornwall long wools underneath that lustre one. And you've got your Leicester long wools. Lincoln long wool. 1891 that breed was established. It's got a lustrous wool with a creamy white colour. Its fleeces are roughly 5 to 8 kilos, and the staple length is approximately 15 to 30 centimetres, or roughly about 15 inches long, and a micron count range of 35 to 38. So it is a coarse wool. It says that it's mostly used again in carpet blends. So it's not a wool that I like that much, but you can use it, spin it all up and weave with it and make your own rugs, or do peg looming. Peg loom is another one. So that's a really, really good book to have in your collection. So it is the British Sheep and Wool Book, a guide to British sheep breeds and their unique wool, by the British Wool Board. So that's one book. That's definitely a must-have, I reckon, for in my references. If I'm asked any questions, I know that I'm going to get all the answers out of this. So we'll stick that down there. Right, so what we got next? This one is actually done by American authors, this one. So this one is a lovely book. It really is a good book, but they'll find that it's got quite a few informations about more American and Canadian sort of bred sheep. It's The Spinner's Book of Fleece, Breed by Breed Guide to Choosing and Spinning the Perfect Fibre for Every Purpose, by Beth Smith, foreword by Deborah Robson on that. And again, that's a really good book. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn you around a little bit, because this one, right, just let's see if we can pop you down and then you can see what I'm looking at. I forgot to put my light on again today, haven't I? So what I love about this book, okay, is they talk about the different, the different aspects of your fleece and how to prep it if it comes like that all in one piece, and shows you what parts you need to skirt away and which are the best bits for working with the wool. The fleece, the copper California, what have they got? So you've got number 1's the neck, and 2, front leg, 3 is the chest area, usually removed when skirted. The 4 is the belly, which is usually removed when skirted. 5 is the rear legs. 6 is the rump. 7 is the shoulders. And 8 is the back. So 4's, this bit and these bits are usually skirted off, and this bit as well. So it's showing you, giving you the information of how to prepare your fleece before you start to wash it, so you're not being left with all the skanky ends. Okay, and I know up in the Isle of Skye, because you've got those wools that they spun up years ago to make the really fine lace weight wool, they would actually pluck the fibres from a sheep's neck, especially the lambs, to get the finest part of the wool. So sometimes that might be worthwhile having a look at the neck bit. This one was number 2, wasn't it? Front legs 2. Yeah, number 1's the neck. Using this piece, pull it to one side, see what condition it's in, and then maybe have a plate, see if you can get some really fine lace weight wool. So it's got an introduction into hand scouring, so it literally goes through all the topics you would need as a beginner to get going. Let me see if I can find the index. Right, so the value of raw fleece, buying a fleece, your do's and don'ts, so it's really good information to get started on that. fine wools, washing techniques for fine wool, preparing to spin your wools. Different. Then it starts going into the different types of breeds. Avoiding stereotypes of long wools, a short lesson in worsted spinning, down and down type breeds, so scouring your down type wools, skirting your fleece, and then it got Dorset Horn and Paul Dorset, Black Welsh Mountains. There's someone here you wouldn't recognise because they're Americans. You've got the American Caracool, they've got Scottish Blackface, so there's some in here that you would recognise, some that you wouldn't. So you go through and she talk about how to prepare the different types of wool after making a comb top using a diz, that sort of thing. Then she shows you examples and helps you learn how to go down more of a technical avenue as a beginner or even as a novice once you figured out what you're doing. Sampling different types of breed fleeces that you've bought yourself. And then there's a few ideas of what you can do with specific. These socks were made with Blueface Leicester. This was spun using Blueface Leicester and a silk blend to make the shawl. You've got the downs. Again, different preparations for different types of staple length of wools and different, the more medium handles or softer handles. So yeah, you've got those. It's a really good book. Welsh Black Welsh Mountain, and it's colour samples there. What you can do with that. It's an American Caracool. But yeah, it is more of it is a breed study, but there's a lot more technical information in there that can definitely help you. Now, you've done inches and centimetres. There's some things that I don't understand in here. Obviously, the micron count, limit standard variation of microns. So, numeral count or the 56 and 58. So, yeah, it takes you down a more technical route of it. But I think it's a really good book to use as a beginner for reference if you want to go down more that specialised route, getting a bit more geeky about what it is that you want to do, and learning how to process different types of wool fleeces from different types of breeds with different expectations. Is definitely a good book to go. It tells you about equipment to use, your carders, your flick carders, hand carders, spinning basics. So it's really just a beginner's guide to working with a sheep's fleece. So that's a really ruining. So yeah, that's a really good book, that one there. Can you hold it up so you can screenshot it? There you go. Yeah, The Spinner's Book of Fleece by Beth Smith. So that's a really good, that's another one that I would go for. What else we've got? We have got, this is a good technique. I love this book. I don't get it out often enough, but it's one of those books that I use when I want to learn a new type of yarn to spin up. And it's got loads of stuff in it. It's got 80 different yarns, right? 80 different styles of yarns, but boucle, art yarn, and slubby yarn, and thick and thin yarn, and all sorts. And it's by a woman called Sarah Sanderson, forward by Judith Mackenzie. So I'll hold this one up for you for a minute, Alison, in case you haven't got this one. There you go. It's a lovely book, really, really nice. Well made, well crafted together and put together. So you've got these yarns in there. So it is literally a directory to different types of yarn, and she actually spins her yarn. You have that one, but you've never used it. Honestly, you need to go and have a read of it. It's an amazing book. The fact that she can spin yarn so thin that she can embroider with it, that it just completely baffles me that she's got the capability to do that. So yeah, it's lace work in there as well. The beauty of customized yarns. talks about we start going down the geeky route, which I always tell you I'm not going to do. I know I have to one day. I have to explain the gist or the grist. So the twist in your yarn, your Z and your S twists and stuff like that. Then your different types of fibres for being tempted into buying and to blend with and that sort of thing. Woolen versus worsted. Mastering your hand carding techniques, making poonies, using drum carders, and then drafting techniques, all that sort of stuff. But then you start going down the route of actually spinning wools and what you want to use them for, perfecting your chain plying. I do the Harry Potter technique, the cloak, you know, the dagger. The Harry Potter technique is the one I call. That's what I did when we're doing my Navajo plying. What else have we got in there? Got different, talks about different wools or different types of spins for making socks and the experiment that she came out with it. 3-ply and a chain ply, which one worked out better quality? And it's actually worked out the chain ply was better for making socks yarns. So you've got those, and it goes on, different swatches, different styles. The gimp yarn, I'm not going down that road. The energized cables, the stranded opposing ply yarns. And she explains why she come up with these and what she uses them in. Some nice bit of boucle in there. That's always quite pretty, especially if you do crochet, I always think. A spiral boucle, the classic yarn cable, different variations, a crepe yarn, the 3-ply crepe yarn as well, which I always think is quite pretty. It looks like a cross rope. And then start going into coils and adding beads in there and stuff like that. So, yeah, and what's even better about this book is in the back. If you guys haven't got this at home, I know you used to have, but you have these cards in the back of it, and they've got the different steps to creating the different types of wools or yarns that are in the book. So there are index cards, there's quite a few of them, and they're all double backed, and there's loads in there for you to sort of just sit with them in your hand. You've read the instructions, you know they're there, but they've got little hand cards in there. So I think that's a really good book to buy. That says $29.95 US. I think I paid about $22.99 for that. Explore the exciting possibilities in wool and wheel with Sarah Anderson as she invites you into her yarn library and demonstrates how to spin everything from classic fat and fine singles to dozens of boucle variations and one-of-a-kind novelty yarns. Features step-by-step instructions on making 80 distinctive yarns, and this is the premiere every spinner needs to begin building a unique collection of luscious yarns. So yeah, I think that's a good one to ask for Christmas. If you started out in the last year, 2 years in spinning yarn and you just want to sort of push yourself on a little bit more, ask for this one for Christmas, or your Christmas pennies, buy that one for yourself. I think it's definitely one of those ones you need to have, and you will thank me for it. So what have I got next? Now this one's been created by, this one got released this year. Kathy Snape and Alison Dakin. Now, this was gifted to me. I never bought this book, but it's £40. It was bought in the on their promo. It was one of the first editions released, not been signed or anything, but it was gifted to me by my friend. Now, not many know that I actually, Alison says, not many people know, but I actually this year, until everything all went Pete Tong, I was doing my Spinners, Weavers and Guilds certification, my foundation certificate. And when I opened up this book and started reading it, it felt to me like I was in the middle of those same questions. And the way that this book's been laid out, you could quite easily use this as a reference guide for every single question that you have to answer for the thesis. That's not a bad thing, but because I know those questions and those sort of things, I'm seeing it straight away in the layout of the book. But the book is a good book to have. It's got everything you need to know. Though it doesn't cover everything, unlike that fleece one. Okay, this one's a good book to have because it tells you how to wash and prepare different types of fleeces, because not every fleece is the same. Okay, that's what this book's really good for, because it talks about different preparations for different types of mediums and handles of different fleeces. Okay, that's what that's good for. This one is more your technical guide. It goes into a lot more detail, not overly complicated. I'll put you down so you can have a look. I'll put you back a bit and I'll put you down so you can have a look. It's not a very good, it's not a picture book, and it's got hand sketches and stuff like that, and pictures. There's certain techniques or there's certain how do I say this? Certain techniques that are used, but the explanation I disagree with. But everybody's got their own way of doing it, and these two women have been in the guild for a long time. So they've learned from the older generation that are no longer here. So that's what you've got. This is telling you how to make roll lags on your hand carders, and how to remove them from them by using your hands. You've got these hand sketches going on there as well, using dowels. Then you've got the drum carder information, how to feed the drum carder and how to work with it. And then it's got a couple of tips. Both of these teach for a living anyway. They've been doing it a lot longer than I have, and we all have our own ways of explaining things. But this is a really good reference book if you want to learn different types of techniques and have the correct information. But it goes into real mathematics of talking about stuff like using grist, estimating the length of yarn from a weight of fibre. Patterns often mention the length of yarn needed. Grist can be used to estimate that length of yarn can be spun from your fibre. To calculate the length of any yarn from its weight, multiply its weight by the grist. Now, that to me is like, yeah, okay, that's just too much of a headache. So it gives an example. Will 74 grams of my fibre give me enough to double knit yarn for a hat that I want to make? The pattern uses approximately 200 metres of yarn. So it says double knitting yarn has a grist of approximately 2 mgs. So it says see image such and such. To find the length of that yarn needs to be spun. Multiply the weight 74 grams by the grist of 2 mg. And this gives you 148. 47 grams of this fibre will approximately give you 148 metres of double knitting yarn. So it's clear from the calculations in the example given more fibre or different yarn is needed, and it's better to find this out in advance halfway through knitting your project. So it goes into really geeky technical terminologies and way to find out what you need to do to be able to complete a project before you even started. Okay, it's not a book that I would sit there and openly read from back to cover. Tips for spinning fine yarn and thick yarn. But I think it's a good book to go and look through and think, oh, right, that I might want to look at, or that section about how to work out how much wool you need before you start on a project. Different, like working out the mathematics of things, because it's not something that comes to us not so much easy, but as public knowledge. You have to go and find this information out there. Mending broken singles and how to dovetail joins and stuff like that and splice them. Record keeping is not one of my things, but it's a lot of people like to go down that geeky route and actually record the type of fibre, the staple length of it, the fibre colour, the washing method, the spin method, the draft length, twist per inch, ply technique, the ply length, the wheel that you used, the twist per inch, and keep a copy of this and record it down in a spinning book that you may have in a notebook. Some people really love that sort of thing. It's not for me, but there we go. Processing flax from home as well, so the history of flax, and then learning how to process that. It covers all the stuff that I need to do for my foundation certificate in spinning. So this is a good book for me to go down that route. But would I gift it somebody for Christmas? Probably not. I could think of better books, different types of books, but it is a nice book. It's been well put together by two very educated women. But I would never have spent £40 for this book. But they're self-published, so you've got to give them kudos for that. They've gone through and they've done this book. They've put it all together. It's a lovely made book. It's a high quality one, and it's definitely more a reference book rather than a sit by the fire maths. I know. It's more of a reference guidebook if you need to know something for something, like especially if you're doing weaving and that, and you want to go down that more technical route because you want to make this project really, really special, or knitting, or whatever it is. This is a good book to go with. It's definitely not one that I would buy, as I say, for a gift for somebody. I would buy one of the other ones. But for a self-published book from two guild women, I think it's been really, really good production for them to get together and put this together. Would I have come back in a more friendly manner at making it? Yeah, probably. But then these are guild members, and with the guild, everything is very technically put together, and it has to be done in a very precise and concise way to be able to get the certification, because it is judged by an examination panel board. It's not just the guild members that all assess you. It's actually an accredited, I think it's the Arts Council that actually do the certification for you as well, and it's not easy to do. So it's a bit like doing a thesis, really, at the end of the day. And that's what I feel when I'm looking at this, is doing that same paperwork. And I can get the paperwork and I'll show you the questions, and I'll be able to find them in the chapters and show you exactly what bit it is. But it is a lovely book. If you're an experienced spinner and you've been doing it for years and it's just another book to put in your collection, go for it. But yeah, it's a lot of money. So that's Inspired to Spin by Kath Snape and Alison Dakin. And the thing is, I follow Kath Snape on everywhere, on social media and everything. And I would probably say the same thing to her as well. It's not a book that I would buy personally. I'm glad I've got it in my collection, but it's not something that I feel comfortable and confident reading. It's too educated. It's like a textbook. That's the explanation I'm looking for. It makes me feel like a textbook that you would need at college. And it's probably a really good book for arts college or textile colleges to have that in their stock. But that's not to say don't get it. It's just personal opinion. We'll go back to the oldies are the goodies. Spinning and Dyeing Yarn. One of my very first books I ever bought. Spinning and Dyeing Yarn by Ashley Martineau. Everybody knows who Ashley Martineau is. And I've had this book for nearly 10 years. My first ever spinning book. Like Niddy Noddies, how to make a PVC Niddy Noddy. How to recycle your yarns. What else have we got? Oh yeah, making a spinning wheel out of PVC tubings. Choosing information of how to choose your first spinning wheel and what you might want to look for. Mixed media, adding beads into it, making fancy plying. Now, Ashley Martineau is more of an art yarn spinner. Really lovely lady. I've been following her for donkey's years, and she's probably drop spindles. She is the person that inspired me to pick up a drop spindle back in 2016, and that's where that's where it started. So yeah, so she does go into dabble into a little bit about dyeing fibres. What else did she talk about? Different types of tools you can use, building. She gives you tips on how to make equipment, you see. Using drum carders, using your hand carders on there. Card and wool processing methods, drafting again versus worsted, and a nap. This is a lovely fun book to have in if you want to start off on a spindle like I did, and then just take your time going down that route. and falling down the hole of fibre. I think it's a really lovely, lovely book. It was $29.99 Canadian American dollars. I think I paid about £22, £21 for it here in the UK. When it comes to yarn, fibre lovers know that spinning and hand dyeing go hand in hand. Yet many books in the yarn craft cover only one topic or the other. Here, the fibre is Ashley Martin, who covers both subjects with rich illustrative detail, step-by-step tutorials to help some home spinners and fibre enthusiasts of all levels explore the pleasure of dyeing, spinning and design technique with unique yarns. So it's a really easy to use, easy to reference, easy to follow book, which is ideal for beginners as far as I'm concerned. Really good book to have when you're just starting out. So that would be that one. Yeah, it would be. For me, if I was starting out and I had a book list, that's a good one, but it wouldn't be on my book list. That one. The British book is rare here in the US and costs about $32. Oh, Victoria, we're going to have a conversation about this one. I may have to sort that out for you and just pay what I pay, and I'll post it over to you with an order. Might be the solution that we come up with, because it's definitely a good book for you to have, because you've got quite a few of the breeds that we've got over there. So we'll sort it out, love. Just message me. We'll sort it out after Christmas. That one, really good for your spinning techniques. And that one, again. So those are my 3 go-to books for someone that's been doing it for a little while. If you're just starting out, I would go with those 2. So the British Wool Board book and the Spinning and Dyeing Yarn book. I'm sure I've got a couple of other wool books around somewhere. But Christmas Advents have happened, and do you know what? Yarnitecture is another good book. I love this book. This is a really handy book to have in as well. I've had this one for probably just as long as I've had Ashley Martin use. It's got knitting patterns in it as well for using, but I love it because the pictures are amazing and it makes so much sense when you're talking about them. Different types of wool preparation, how to spin your yarns to get more variegated colours. This one takes you down the rainbow route of yarn spinning. It just gets you excited about the possibilities, about barber pole and fractal spinning, how to prepare your wools, why the preparation matters and everything else. Is just, this book's a really exciting book to have. Sampling 3-ply yarns, what you want to look for when you're spinning with it and when you're working with it. What type of effects do you want with it? Do you want it to pool in the middle, or do you want so the colours are saturated throughout, or do you want a mild look on your wools and knitting? So yeah, it's a really, really, really good book. I love it. I'm stood here scrolling through it, but I haven't sat and looked through this book for ages. It always gets my juices flowing. That's page there. So it says that the same colourways were blended together before spinning 2 skeins of singles at the top and then applied together to create the 3rd skein. So they applied 2 together and then applied it together again to make it a bit thicker. 2 skeins of singles at the top were spun separately and then applied together to create this different type of dimension. So yeah, I love this book, how to prep rovings. You know those rovings that we all get from from either Wingham Wool or from Adelaide Walker or from the Threshing Barn, where they've got all these different colours in there and you're really not sure how to work with them. Instead of splitting them all up, it's showing you here, try and make some faux rolags with them, and then you're getting these sort of looks from that same wool using different types of techniques, or dividing up the roving in different variations of it, or splitting it down the middle and separating the colours and then spinning them off. Then it gives you tips about different types of tools to use, your yarn gauges and your watt per inch or your wraps per inch, how using a ruler actually helps with working, and niddy noddies, what do you want to use those for, twist and knitting styles. So you Z plied yarn or Z spun yarn with an S plied yarn, and then pick stockinette stitch cables and lace. So it shows you different techniques. There's your knitting patterns coming through there. Nice hand spun shawl. But yeah, it's a really good book. I think there's about 8 patterns or something like that in the back of this book. And then it actually gives you some tips about different types of stitches if you're not used to knitting, or not like me, like cast on, Kitchener stitch, long tail cast ons, sew bind off, and 3-needle bind off, that sort of thing. And then your abbreviations. But this is a really, really good book to have as a beginner. Or even like me, if you never had this book before, I would advise you, get this one on your Christmas list. The Yarnitecture, A Knitter's Guide to Spinning, Build Exactly the Yarn That You Want by Gillian Marino. It makes me excited. I wish more people would make books like this with really big, bold pictures that tickle your taste buds of the brain, is really what I need. I don't want a book that I should be reading at university. Right, if you want to go down more the dyeing route, now this book I don't think you can get a hold of anymore. But if you want to go and dabble in some natural dyeing, especially when the spring comes, but you can actually collect stuff in your own kitchen to dye with, like onion skins, walnuts and shells, and tea and saffron, and what else? That's a very expensive one to go with. Onion skins. And then we've got, what's the other one? Avocado. And there's other bits and pieces. But anyway, you want to go and look up a lady called Jenny Dean. Now, this book, I've had this book for a while, but she was doing this as a limited edition, but it was only to go to a museum. And she had X amount of copies that she wanted to sell herself. So this is one I have got. It's my personal book. And it has been signed by her. So yeah, that's mine. No one's ever getting that. That will be sent off to the textile college at some point when I'm no longer here. But go onto Amazon or eBay or wherever you want to go looking for your books. Or World of Books is a really good place to go because you get loads of second-hand discounted books. Jenny Dean, she is a font of knowledge. There's probably other people out there, but for me, the British ladies, I've never really... There are other people out there, but she's probably the most well-known one, is probably the way to go. And the only one that I've ever seen publish books, okay? So, Wild Colour. Every couple of years she brings out a new edition, and they're not overly expensive. This was $16.99, this book. And it is all about discover the incredible range of colours that can be achieved from nature. A Wild Colour provides comprehensive guide to dyeing environmentally friendly dyeing techniques and celebrates the wealth of natural colour that can be obtained from more than 65 species of plants and natural dye stuffs, from the common marigold to the rhubarb. So you can plant it in your garden, you see. Get yourself some marigold. Get yourself and dye as chamomile and stuff like that for the garden. And start getting your seeds in now. I will have a look and try and find the name of the company. There's a company down in Devon that sell seeds specifically for herbalists and dyers that you can get for in the garden. But you can go foraging. Hawthorn, you can get dye colours from the hawthorn tree. And then you've got your dahlias, your wild carrot. That's a domestic wild carrot. You find that wandering around, take your dog out for a walk. Eucalyptus, the ash tree, a logwood. You can buy a lot of these in powder form already. The ivy, indigo, bog myrtle and sweetgale. Daffodils. Now, who would have thought your daffodils can actually do something instead of just sitting in your garden? Japanese indigo. Cherry, plum, peach and almond and apricot trees. But you can use the leaves when they're dried and the bark of the cherry tree. Blackthorn. So yeah, no, it's a really good, comprehensive, good little book to have. Not overly expensive, but definitely one to have on your tick list. Right, so we've got her. Now, going on to... Now, this is a bit of a random book. This is my Christmas present last year. Was it my Christmas present last year? No, it wasn't. 2 years ago. Colette, my friend. who I've just literally, a Christmas present has just been picked up so I can post it down. Now this is called, I love this book, was it Grow, Cook, Dye and Wear, From Seed to Style and the Sustainable Way. So this lady, actually, she's a fashion designer, Bella Gonchwarowitz, in her garden to garment journey, as she swaps food waste and fashion for homegrown produce, delicious vegan dishes and a unique capsule wardrobe. Start by growing and foraging 5 crops to cook and enjoy, and then use your food waste to make natural dyes, and then transform well, I've lost my word now. I've lost my word. So upcycle fabric to 5 exclusive designs with full-scale patterns inside. Whether you want to embrace the fashion show or try to plant-based diet, or simply start growing your own food, Grow, Cook, Dye and Wear will help you live more sustainably. £20 in the UK, $25.99 in the US. Brilliant book. Inside this section here is patterns. You cut out sewing patterns, and you can tell I've been so busy I haven't had a chance, but full cut out sewing patterns are all in here. The full lot goes inside there. It's one of those novelty books that sometimes you just have to have. She goes on how she started down this journey, okay? And then she started to create patterns for the clothes that she wears every day. So she's got this little summer dress. And then she started cultivating the onions because she wanted to create onion skin dyes. So she did that. And then she's got this recipe for slow roasted onions because she needed the onions from there. And there's onion purslane and herb sumac salad. And then there's more recipes for onions, but there is the dress that she made from scratch and then dyed with the onion skins. So she goes on this journey, and that's what the pattern looks like once you've cut it out, and then you make it yourself. And there's a pattern in here for a coat, using nettle dyes. You've got a nettle spanakopta. You've got nettle soup, dyeing with nettle, different colour ranges that you get from it and everything. So there's a coat in there, there's a dress in there, I think there's shorts in there, rhubarb kebab, so using rhubarb from your garden as well for dyeing with, and using the leaves as a mordant as well helps change it. So you've got little Bolero tops there, but they're all in there. That lovely little shirt dress. So this is another book that's really, it's one of those, I've got all the books in the world that I need. I don't need any more, Joe. I'm like, yeah, you do. You need to get yourself that if you like to make your own clothes, or if you just want to start dabbling in a bit of kitchen dyeing. Perfect. 2 in 1 or 3 in 1. Learning how to dye, then learning how to grow veggies in your back garden, and actually being able to get the sewing machine out. What books have I bought this year? I've bought this one, the Inkle Pattern Directory. It's all right. It's just a directory of different types of patterns. Some of them I find really head-boggling and I can't figure them out, but it's very much like the Weaver's Handbook. Very much exactly the same layout as that. Nice little book if you like to tablet weave and inkle weave. Different types of patterns, different methods. Some are really complicated, how to put letters on them and stuff like that on your bands, the different designs, how to set them up and lay them out when you're working with it, and all the gubbins that go along with starting and finishing. I've got a couple of other new little couple of quid books that I bought off of Amazon a couple of months ago, but I haven't really had a time to look at those, but I will do at some other point. So there you go. That's just a little touch of the type of books that I have in my reference guide, and a few extras flung in there for your Christmas wish list. Tell you what, your family and friends are going to hate me. So yeah, so you're looking at the top price of a lot of those books. The spin book, I don't even know where you can buy that. I'm presuming you can still buy that online. If not, get in touch with Kathy Snape or the Inspired to Spin page on Facebook, and she might be able to send you the link as to how to get purchased now. I'm not quite sure how many copies she got. Sue Blacker Pure Wool is good. Write that one down. I'll hold on a minute. Sue Blacker Pure Wool. I've never heard of that one. Never heard of that lady. Hold on a second. I've got a pot full of pens everywhere. Right, Sue Blacker Pure Wool. I'll look that one up. That might have to go in my can I have it list for the new year. I don't get pennies for Christmas. I just have to be good. Alright, so that's it for now. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you didn't mind this chat being a little bit different from the previous ones, but I thought, well, it's come for Christmas, and some of you might be stuck for some ideas, or some need your memory. She runs Blacker Yarns. Oh, does she? Yeah, some of you just might want your memory jigged, because maybe you've heard me talk about or mention these books before and you've completely forgotten about them because it's been a year since. So thanks very much for being here today. I will catch you next Wednesday, which is my last live chat until the new year. But don't worry, you'll still get 13 instalments of me over Christmas week to New Year with the 12 days of Advent. So I'm filming those at the moment. So you take care of yourselves, keep out of trouble if you can. Otherwise, do what that elf does. Plenty to get. Thank you very much for being here today, Victoria. See you later. Bye.